okay, you know what? Let's do something, right? Let's do one last thing, and then by the time we're done with that last thing, we block each other like from where we are.
The best punishment I can give a woman is malice. I can stay in the same house with you, I'll not talk to you. If you cross the line,
come, I have this for you. But first, welcome to Culture Crush. I'm your host, Michelle, and I'll be your pop culture crush. It's my job to bring you a weekly dose of African entertainment news. So grab a drink, take a seat, and let's just talk. Frank Edoho, Sandra, and Chike have decided this is their week to shake up the internet, so let's get into it. Popular media personality Frank Edoho recently came up with shocking allegations about his estranged wife, Sandra, amid the messy fallout they had online trailing their failed marriage. Sandra had publicly come out to accuse Frank Edoho of cheating, emotional abuse, and abandoning his responsibilities as a father. Reacting to this, Frank Edoho fired back at the allegations of infidelity and financial irresponsibility, claiming that his wife was actually the one who was cheating on him with a popular Nigerian singer who he did not mention by name. He said that affair was one of the final straws that led to the collapse of their marriage. According to him, he had initially attempted to salvage the relationship for the sake of their children, despite discovering evidence of an affair between Sandra and the singer. He said, since December 2022 till January last year, 2025, that news that came out is very true. I approached that stupid guy because this is my second marriage. I asked him if he knew who I was, and he was shaking like a leaf. I asked him what he was doing with my wife. He had a serious girlfriend he was engaged to, Precious. I told him that if my wife was stupid enough to cheat on her husband, why would he encourage it? He said, is that what she told you? And I told him I have the recordings of him talking to my wife. I told him I have 2 boys with this woman and I want to raise them. Leave this woman alone and maybe she'll come to her senses. I will overlook it and take one for my sons. But they have continued. He further alleged that Sandra actively encouraged the relationship with the singer despite his efforts to preserve the marriage. He went on to state that he will release evidence to back up his claims, explaining that he was able to secretly record her calls with Chike after she promised not to return.
I don't really give a fuck what people say. I don't really care. But I know you're still younger and you still care and you still want to be perceived in a certain way. You know, but at the end of the day, what's important? Is it the blog post for 2 weeks? 2 months? Can we be in the news for 6 months? So what are we saying? It's definitely going to be a backlash. Will it affect your music career? No.
Can I ask you a simple question? Let me just ask you now. Do you think that if that happens, that comes to what's out here? Let me ask you now, direct. Do you think so?
Eventually, yes.
Okay, how
Eventually.
do you think this is eventually?
Over on X, one user, identified as Danny of Owerri, stirred further conversations when he pointed out that the singer, Chike, had an affair with Frank Edoho's estranged wife. He wrote, but why would Chike sleep with Frank Edoho's wife? Why? I used to see Chike as a responsible guy. Frank Edoho revealed that he and Sandra had already been separated for almost 2 years before the current online uproar. However, as social media detectives continue to dissect this situation and all online activities involving Sandra and Chike after both parties shared the same love theme song on Friday. The song, titled "You Are the Closest to Heaven," by an Australian singer sparked further speculation among fans who interpreted the post as subtle messaging in the middle of the situation. As the conversation went further, Sandra was being dragged across the internet and had to put out a statement to clear her name. Recently, she shared on her Instagram story in a lengthy post titled Surviving Frank Edoho. She went on to accuse Frank Edoho of infidelity, emotional abuse, neglect, and financial irresponsibility during their marriage. She wrote, "Choosing to remain silent may give mixed signals to the narrative that a sadist and narcissist peddles, making everyone believe he is a victim. Choosing to marry a man, raising our beautiful kids, single-handedly building and growing a successful design business, and giving myself wholly undiluted and faithful through and through. Until you decide that while I am pregnant with our first child, you'd rather have a prolonged affair that lasted years with an actress, Mbong Amata, amongst other women. Where do I even begin? The nights crying on the floor, begging that you see me, with you walking out and not returning for days. So many numerous transactions in Lekki hotels, Airbnb, lounges and bars, sold my property without my permission for chicken change, and still squandered the earnings from it within 1 week on different girls. Documented evidence D. Chai. She went on to call out some celebrities who she claimed were having an affair with Frank Edoho during her marriage. However, many of the women she called out have come out to debunk those allegations. One of such women is Amaka Okeke, who came out on Instagram writing, "Over the past few hours, my name has been wrongfully linked to false and baseless allegations currently circulating online. For clarity, Frank Edoho and I met in 2024 on strictly business-related matters and only became good friends in May 2025 when he was dealing with a personal matter which I will not bring up here for privacy reasons. Any narrative beyond this is completely untrue." Tega Dominic, who was also named in the allegation, simply wrote a cryptic message on her Instagram. It's all cap. In addition to the cheating and financial irresponsibility allegations, she went on to make further claims alleging that Frank Edoho was also an abusive husband. She said, "I refuse to be tagged an unfaithful wife, a prostitute, or even an ashawo, as I've been pegged for the past few days. Frank, you must come to equity with clean hands. You must acknowledge and take responsibility for how I was constantly humiliated, physically abused, and traumatized. Please find picture evidence attached." Now, you're probably wondering how people found out that Chike was involved. Well, despite the fact that Frank Edoho never mentioned the name of the singer, controversial social media critic Very Dark Man released a video analyzing the situation, bluntly telling Chike that his actions could permanently destroy his career.
Chike, now I don't settle down. Let me now tell you the reality of everything. Now, this matter between you and Frank Edoho and the wife, you don't cool down. So it's not time for us to tell you the reality. You see, your career is about to be ruined for good. You're about to lose a lot. A lot. This is how it starts. I'll break it down. So Chike is an artist that usually most of his bookings are wedding bookings. Chike, most of his bookings are wedding bookings. You know what they call it, the boo of the boolless. But recent time they've added another AKA, the boo of the boolless and the boo to married women. Okay, let's go straight to the point and the reality. So in a month, Chike get at least 3 wedding bookings in a month, or let's say 2 wedding bookings. And the charges between 70 to 80 million, in some cases the charges like 50-60 million. Just to go see for wedding. Because women like it a lot. Women tell the man they won't marry, "Oh, I want Chike to, one of my wishes to have Chike singing my wedding," so they book Chike for wedding. We see this matter, so go mess them all bad. Because those wedding bookings are going to stop. Those wedding bookings are going to stop. Which mouth the women want to tell their husband to be? Say they want me Chike complete for their wedding. How? Because if they go and tell their husband, "No, honey, I want to see Chike on my wedding." What do you think they go now? What did it happen? With the kind of publicity where Chike don't get now. That's what all this now say, That's why if you do Frank Edoho wife. Frank Edoho wife. Why be?
Now, in the middle of all of this, Chike hasn't had very much to say to the entire situation. Rather, he simply made a cryptic post on social media writing "Pity my soul." It remains unclear if that was in reference to the controversy or something else. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, that is all the time I have today. If you made it this far, you get a gold star. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell me your thoughts on everything we discussed. And if you don't have any thoughts, well, you can just leave me a gold star in the comments. It'll be our little secret. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.